Oof. Hi there, friends. It is February. I am not feeling great today. I have eaten something this morning that has really not agreed with me. I had to come back to the house and lay down for a bit. Whew. I'm not feeling great, but I gotta get going, so let's hop in here and get on with the day. Let me tell you what I've been up to. All kinds of stuff. As usual. Oh god, actually face. First, you'll notice as we drive by here, I got another greenhouse in here. And I can't remember if I told you about this last month. It's been a wild few weeks. The silo is moved now over to the other yard. So that's where it used to be. And now I've got this greenhouse here. I haven't got it set up yet. I've got all the boxes in and everything, but I haven't planted anything, haven't put any water in for the irrigation system, don't have any pellets or anything laid in. I figure I could take some of the supplies from the other greenhouses to get going. Oh, I've got a few more pallets of lettuce I need to sell. I've got a lot of stuff to move around today. I'll tell you why in a minute. Let me run over here and check on the eggs. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm gonna get these eggs moved. Chickens are getting very prolific. Good for them. So why am I moving all this stuff, you might ask, when I have people to do this for me? Well, that is a great question. Turns out having people to do this for you is maybe a little more complicated than I was reckoning on? No, I'm good. Let's get over here across the road safely, and then I'll explain what I mean by that. Cool. Just hop over here off the road. So, yeah, you know, I've been talking about how, oh gosh, up there. Jacob hired people to do some work, and we had someone helping out Nelson in the dairy, and someone who was in charge of moving stuff around, and a couple people who were working in the sugar factory. And I have not checked on the animals today. I'm gonna assume everybody's doing okay, because we have Nelson's helper looking after animals. So Jacob was gonna hire a couple more people, but if you recall correctly, when the dairy goods that I was trying to sell over my refrigerated storage building, when I couldn't get in there, refrigerated storage building, when I was unable to get in there, I mentioned I couldn't find the person who had been moving stuff around to ask them how long ago they had last been in that building. I wasn't sure if something got damaged after the last time they were in there or whatever. I didn't find them that day, and my day just sort of got away from me, and then I was dealing with the insurance claims, and then there was the whole building out of this depot area, and honestly, I kind of let it slip entirely. Like, I hadn't followed it up. I assumed, because I had bought that building secondhand, there was some problem with it when it was sold to me, or else when it was reassembled out here, and I just chalked it up to, like, faulty construction. Nelson was doing work in the dairy, and he had gone back to his house for lunch, and when he was going to leave his house, he just happened to look out the window, which looks over the parking lot of the dairy area, and saw the worker in the forklift intentionally puncturing the pallets of butter that he had assembled in the dairy. So they had like pulled up alongside of it with a forklift, like positioned the forklift perfectly as if they were lining up to put the pallet forks through the pallet like they would if they were moving it. Then backed up, got out of the forklift, walked around, raised the pallet arms until it was perfectly positioned to puncture into the butter, not just like the pallet forks or up above, and did that repeatedly to multiple pallets at multiple places, just while they were sitting outside of the building there. Nelson, thinking very fast, pulled out his camera phone and got everything on video. So he told me, we pulled Jacob in, we pulled in the Frontier security team. This person has now been arrested, and we believe, and they have admitted to this, that they intentionally sabotaged the refrigerated building in addition to destroying those pallets of butter that were sitting out. Fortunately, it was only 2 more pallets of butter that got messed up while that was happening. But it is just wild to me that we hired someone who was intentionally sabotaging what we're doing out here. And I have no idea who would have set that up, why anybody would have done that. And because I had already demolished that building, any physical evidence is long gone. So we only have this person's confession to go on and the video proving that they did damage the pallets of butter intentionally. So it's a little bit circumstantial. I don't know if it's going to hold up in court, but they're in jail right now anyway. So I don't know what the long-term ramifications are going to be. It's been a lot, actually. On the opposite side of things. So yeah, I guess to summarize now, we don't have anybody doing the logistic stuff, which means I am now back to moving pallets around to everywhere that needs to have them. So I need to get the eggs taken over to the new bakery, which I'll show you soon. I got the bakery constructed over there on the property that used to have the factory building. So I'm very excited. They are ready to get going. All the equipment is in, and I just need to get them eggs and flour and milk and butter and strawberries, which is what I'm planning to grow in that new greenhouse that I have set up. So, very excited about that. Javon has brought in another piece of equipment as the rest of his buy-in to the co-op. I cannot wait to show you this. It is insane. So there's the tractor that I own that's been working very hard here on the farm. And as you know, it's a little bit too small for some of the equipment I've been buying lately. I got that slurry tanker, although I still don't have a distributor for it. And I have the rollers, both of which require more horsepower than that tractor has. So Javon has brought this thing into the co-op. This is like the big cousin of this one. It's just so entertaining to me to see them side by side. Obviously that's a Case and that's McCormick. It's not exactly the same thing, but just check this thing out. It's got the twin wheels all around, so it should have great traction, even when we're pulling very heavy equipment. It has 592 horsepower in the base unit, and it is possible for us to do some engine upgrades to get over 600 horsepower with this if we need to. Check out the stack on that. This is just... I am so excited about using this piece of equipment. We've had no excuse to do it yet, and I won't. I mean, look, we've got like, it's amazing. We won't have an excuse to use this piece of equipment until we need to roll the fields that we're going to plant this spring. Because I don't really have any other equipment that requires anything that big, and I don't have a distributor yet for the slurry tanker that I bought, or else I would love to have Jacob spread slurry on the soybean field, the field that I planted in soybeans last year, because I need to get that fertilized. So that's my plan for today. I need to fertilize this new field that I plowed last time. I will use manure to do that, I think. And then we've got a ton of slurry. So we're going to have to fertilize that soybean field. And I'll have Jacob do that. That is going to be so monotonous to do in our little, what's it, like 13-meter slurry tanker that we can run with this other tractor. So, God bless him. I hired help for a reason. And sometimes the hired help has to do the stuff I don't want to do. I'm going to get into this truck and get stuff moved around, but I need to head up to my office real quick, and I got to do a little bit of paperwork, check on some stuff. So I'll bring you back in when I get stuff moved around, maybe when I get some stuff sold and have more money to show. I'll see you all in a little bit. That is super weird. I don't know if you noticed. Just as I was recording that last video, money got deposited into my checking account, not the co-op's account, my account. I don't know where that money came from. I'm super weirded out about that. Right, well, I got my paperwork done. I'm going to hop in the truck and get going. I did want to mention, while I was up there, Nelson had left me a box of chocolate. I need to get the chocolate moved and sold. This is the month to sell it. Our first batch. And everything is packed up in the pallets, and we've taste tested some as we were developing it, but I didn't keep any or anything. And I was sort of making a joke to Nelson about that recently, about how the chocolate was delicious, and I was an idiot for not insisting on having like a director's cut of it. And so he put together a large sample box for me and left it on my desk in my office. That was so sweet of him. He is just such a nice guy. With my parents and I having problems when I first moved out here, it was a while that I didn't really have, I don't know, parental figures in my life to look up to. And Nelson was just such a godsend, really. I'm sad that Leo and I aren't dating anymore. I still don't know what to make of that conversation we had the other day. Why would he bother to warn me if he didn't care about me? But if he did care about me, why does he not want to date anymore? Okay, that's easy spiral to get into. I don't want to do that. But, awesome. Looks like we've got 2 cases of chocolate here and some butter that has not been damaged yet, so I can take the butter over to the bakery, and I'll take this chocolate over to Jenny to sell it in the farmer's market. So Nelson was kind of a godsend to me as like a parent figure. He's just so level-headed and really knows how to put things into perspective. I maybe have a tendency to overblow things sometimes. Especially when I was first starting out here, I didn't really know what I was doing, and that showed and became an issue at times. And Nelson has always been so good at finding ways to put things in perspective for me. I don't know what I would do without him. He has become an indispensable part of the operation out here. I'm so glad he decided to retire from his cow farming days at Ravenwood and move on to here, where he's not doing so much physical labor and gets to do the fun stuff at the dairy with the experimenting and producing goods with the milk. Oh, I'll check in with the person who's doing the animal care. I think the cows need some feed mix. I gotta make sure that they're on top of that, because we cannot have the cows unhappy. We need them making milk, so we've got the dairy going, and also I need to get some over to the bakery now. Oh yeah, always something. Okay, I'm just gonna move pallets off camera. There's gonna be so much of this. Oh, I guess I do have something else to show you, but not here. So maybe when I get to that, I'll show you that. And then, other than that, I'll save some time. I don't want to do too much talking at you. So you can see me spread manure on the new field. I guess I should need to cultivate that too. I plowed it last month, but I can't seed it until I've cultivated it, so maybe I'll show you the cultivating or the fertilizing or both in a time lapse a little later. I'll get to it. I'll finish this up, get some stuff sold and moved, and catch y'all later. Bye for now. Well, I was gonna wait and bring you back later when I was doing the cultivating or the fertilizing, or even when I was showing you the other thing, the other new development, but I had to tell you now, I just got a text. This text from unknown number. This is wild. It says, "We can be your friends if you stop asking questions. Hope this money helps you buy some nice new equipment." I have no idea who this is from. I can't begin to imagine who would be sending me. How much money was this even? Nearly $400,000? 350? I have to look and find the account transaction history when I get back to my office later. This is like some next level stuff. I don't know how to return this money. I've never been bribed before. I'm not even sure what I'm being bribed for. Stop asking questions. I haven't even been asking questions. I've just been speculating, and that's only mildly speculating on my silly videos, not like actually doing anything lately. Oh, let me show you the bakery while I'm here, actually. So this is our new bakery, and I totally forgot to tell you. I have just been very sidetracked. I'm telling you that getting off on the wrong foot this morning with the not feeling well because of something I ate is just throwing off my whole day. So, here's the new bakery. It has a little bit of seating area, so people from the Frontier Security Office here can come out and buy goods, or people even from the city. It's right outside the gate, so people might want to do that. But mainly it's meant to be like a production facility for bread and cakes and pastry and things. We're using that recipe we got from Lisa for the bread, which goes really well with the cheese that Nelson is making. But also we're going to do some cakes, which is what I need the strawberries for. The upstairs is an apartment. It is a much larger apartment with like a extra loft area than the one that is above the farmer's market. And this is a stopgap for Rachel and Jenny. Because they're now engaged and they're planning to get married in April. I don't have the money yet, or at least I didn't until just now, but this isn't my money, it doesn't count, to set up an actual house for them out here, although I still plan to do that at some point. The little loft area above the farmer's market is too small for both of them for the long term. Like, they stay there sometimes. It's getting to be a hassle for Jenny to commute from Rachel's place in the city, and now that Rachel is commuting from there out to our, like, her workshop, out at our depot area, that is a much longer commute for her than just heading over to the dealer. So I really want them to have something that's more convenient. And we talked to Jacob about maybe, like, trading, maybe him moving from that house over there next to Nelson to up above the farmer's market and having Rachel and Jenny move into that house. And Jacob was totally willing to do that, but Jenny was not willing to, like, put him out of the house. And I don't know if that is exactly to their tastes anyway. We've been sort of looking at some magazines and things, like if they were going to build their own house, what would it look like? And it wouldn't really, none of the things they've picked out look like that exactly. So I think I need to find I need to get money and build them a better place. But for now, this is going to be like a stopgap apartment for them, both bakery. I asked them if they would mind smelling bread constantly and cakes because that would drive me crazy. But both of them said it's fine for a while. So I need to get them some other house set up this year. I don't think they have the money to do it themselves. And it can be part of the compensation for both of them. But for now, they're going to be living up here. They haven't moved in yet. They're still getting everything, all their furniture and stuff set up the way they want it to up there. So yeah, I've got the bakery and the girls are going to be there and very excited about that. I'm going to get some of this unloaded here, the butter for the bakery, and then I will get into the farmer's market and start selling that chocolate and also get the lettuce moved and bring the eggs over and all of the logistic stuff that I have been supposed to be offloading to Jacob's guy. I get to do that instead. Although honestly, right now I'm still not feeling great. I think I might actually have to run inside here. Oh gosh, this is gonna be embarrassing. Okay, I am over here at the food factory. I got the manure spread on that new field that I plowed, and I got it cultivated. I don't know how much of that I'm going to put in this video. It took a while to do all that. I'm realizing now, as my equipment is starting to scale up and my field size is starting to scale up, some of my equipment is a bit too small for farming on the scaling I'm starting to do, So I need a bigger cultivator, probably. And I have the bigger slurry spreader, but I don't have the distributor. I could use a bigger manure spreader. Bigger weeder. I don't know. Eddie called me. There's a sprayer for sale that's used. It's like $78,000. It's not cheap. I'm wondering if it would be good to invest in that as an alternative to the manual weeding that I've been doing. My weeder is, I think, around 12 meters. And it doesn't go that slow, but my fields are getting so big. 12 meters, I mean, I think the sprayer can do something like 36 meters. So that's like 3 times the width, the working width of the manual weeder. I don't like the idea of using herbicide though. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that one. But I'm over here at the food factory to show you the other thing that has been added to my fleet recently. Oh, there's a lot of trash here. I need to take this over to the recycling center. I told them just throw it out back and I would take it for them. And that is this. I got a new forklift, which lives over here. They're just producing so many different types of goods. They've got all these loading bays, all these pallet types out here. I really just needed some dedicated piece of equipment to live here to move stuff around. It is electric. At some point I'm going to have to put an electric charger here, but right now it's fine. It'll be good for a while before it needs to be charged. And I'm here to pick up soy milk. This is the best time of year for that. So let's get these pallets loaded up into the truck. But yeah, it's very cool. I've made soy milk in this food factory from the soybeans that I grew out there in the frontier. So it has gone all the way from field to carton to hopefully your kitchen soon. Whoever needs the soy milk. I was reading recently that the soy milk used to be mainly used by people who had dairy allergies, but after rationing started, things got more scarce, there wasn't as much livestock in play, dairy milk became kind of a luxury, and soy milk has been an artificial replacement for it. In a lot of places, a more affordable replacement for it. So I'm interested to know that I'm producing luxury goods with my cows, with the milk that I'm working on in the dairy, but also I'm bringing more accessible soy milk to you all in the city. I'm kind of impressed by the speed that this factory is able to crank stuff out. The supervisor, Claude, foreman here, let me know that they added a bunch of new equipment, which was supposed to increase productivity, not long before they shut this place down and filed bankruptcy. And there's obviously some mismanagement that was happening. Claude didn't really know the details. I just don't understand how, if you're able to keep the goods coming in the way they produce them, I don't know how you couldn't be profitable. It's so much volume coming out of here. And it gives workers jobs. I don't understand. There's something there that I'm missing. So let's get this loaded up, and I will get these over to the farmer's market for selling. Frontier farmed soy milk. Who knew? Everything is going to be frontier farmed one of these days. It's meant to be a joke, but it's actually not that funny because there's too much truth to it. I'm just sort of inching this across the bed to make room for the other one. So regarding that money, let me... Is that all the soy milk? Oh, there's one more here. I'll get into the truck before I talk about that. I don't really want to talk about that out in the open. I guess I'm not in the open. I'm in a forklift, but even so. Okay. Nice. This forklift is really easy to use. I'm happy. I got it. I did buy it new. There was no used forklift available. You know, I try to buy most of the stuff that I can used because I just need so much equipment, but not an option with the forklift. That's okay. Just slide this across a little bit. I don't know what that guy was thinking, intentionally puncturing the pallets of butter. Like, did he think he wouldn't get caught? He didn't strike me as terribly bright. Why would you confess? I don't know. There's a whole mystery wrapped up in that I do not know the answers to. Okay, great. Let me get some straps over these pallets, and then I'll throw the trash in the back. Get it over to the recycling center. Cool. I feel like it hasn't been that long since I took trash for them. They seem to be producing a lot of it. Maybe time is moving faster than I think, too. I don't know. It does seem a little strange to me that it's almost March. Pretty soon I'll be into the spring planting. Oh, that reminds me. I realized the bakery is almost going. I need to get strawberries over there for the cake. They have actually started baking bread with flour, eggs, and water. I need to get... Oh, and the butter. I need to get the milk over here, too. But that made me realize they're going to need a lot more flour. I had a fair amount in that little shed that I put up over by the farmer's market. But they're going to go through that real fast if they're making bread and cake every day. So I think I need to get a new mill up and probably grow some flower type crops, some grain, in the spring. I wasn't really planning to. There we go. I know wheat and barley are fall crops, so I missed getting those in the field last summer. But I think I could still do sorghum and get some flour out of that. Sorghum wheat doesn't yield, well, sorghum, the plant, doesn't yield as much as wheat and barley. So I think that means I would have less wheat per meter of field planted. But I don't know that I have a choice because I really need the flour. And I need to get more straw for bedding for the cows and the pigs and to make some lovely manure. But I was planning to plant oats and then get straw off of it because I messed up and didn't plant wheat crops in the fall. I'll get the trash offloaded first and then come back and take the soy milk to Jenny. But yeah, I am uncertain now if I'm going to plant any oats this spring, since I might need to plant sorghum instead to get flour going. So I really got to rethink what I was going to plant. I'll have to do some math and figure that out. Okay, back in a little bit. Okay, nice. Jenny gave me a little over $30,000 for the soy milk, which was interesting. That was for 4 pallets. And earlier I got a little over $13,000 for 2 pallets of chocolate. So the soy milk is actually selling for more than the chocolate right now. My math for that would be very different. If I were paying for chocolate and soy milk, I would value the chocolate and pay more, much more highly than the soy milk. But I guess it's all about supply and demand, and my demand for chocolate and soy milk seems to be different than the general public, or at least that's what Jenny would have me believe. So yeah, that is all sold. I'm going to get over now to the depot and get the pallet trailer here switched out for the milk tanker and move some milk over to the dairy and then over to the bakery with the rest of it, just to get them going. And then I'll be ready to add some water in to the greenhouse and get the strawberries going, and they'll be ready to go with cake probably soon. So that'll be good. The money, that's what I was going to talk about. Very distracted today. Like I said, I just haven't been doing great. Had a very embarrassing episode. I had to run into the bakery, use their bathroom. It was not fast and not pleasant if you had to go in there afterward. I just am not doing well today. Whatever I ate this morning that didn't agree with me. What have I got caught on? Oh no. Right. I'll bring you back in after I get the truck switched over, figure out what I got stuck on, and tell you about the money, what I plan to do with that. Okay, I'm over here at the dairy cows. Looks like I've got a visitor overhead. And I've just finished pumping the milk into the tanker, so I'll hop in here and get that taken over. Ran into the worker who's working in the dairy and with the cows, with Nelson, and they were over here doing some feed mix and topping up the bedding. They have not agreed to be on video. They don't want to be on video, so I waited for them to duck out of the way before I started recording. Not everybody wants to be associated with what's going on out here, but apparently enough people want. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't need to get into that. So yeah, the money. I am undecided about whether to go to Frontier Security about this, because they're kind of on my short list of people I can't trust. So I'm inclined to not tell them about this because I don't know if they're involved. I spoke with... Wait a minute. What's Leo's truck again? Well, Nelson's not expecting me, but why is Leo here? Alright, I'm gonna load some of this milk into the dairy, and then I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on. I don't know if this is another one of those laying an ambush for me things, or if he's just here to visit Nelson. I'll come back in a minute. Uh-huh. Well, I'm not feeling any better after that, actually. I spoke with Leo and Nelson. Nelson's playing everything off like no big deal. Leo took me aside and said that Nelson called him and wasn't feeling well. Wouldn't get into the details exactly what that meant, but apparently he was feeling unwell enough that Leo thought he had to come out here and be with him. Leo said he's actually planning to spend the night. He doesn't want Nelson to be alone. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, he's a bit older, but he's not unhealthy. He's never mentioned anything to me about feeling unwell. He's been one of those, like, perpetually hardy old guys. I've been happy to give him work to do that's less taxing than working with the cows directly, but I'm really worried now. What if something's wrong with Nelson? Alright, well, I got about 3,000 liters of milk loaded into the dairy there. That will keep them running. I will take the rest of this over to the bakery and get them up and running soon. And I was starting to tell you about the money. So I don't know if it's safe to report this to Frontier Security, because I don't know if anybody at Frontier Security was involved, and if so, if it was a person and maybe doesn't represent Frontier Security as an organization, or if the whole dang thing is corrupt. Maybe it has nothing to do with them at all, but I'm wary of getting them involved until I have a better idea about what is actually happening here. So I did the smart thing and I called my lawyer and said, what do I do? And he's going to help me set up a special escrow account where we can transfer the money matching the amount that was transferred in. And basically, it'll be in this secure account that my lawyer has access to. He's going to hire somebody. There's such a thing as a forensic analyst, basically, who will go and try to track down the origin of this deposit. The lawyer suggested that to make a deposit, whoever made the deposit would have to have information about my bank account to know what account to deposit it in. So that could be anybody I've ever written a check to. It could be somebody who's been in my house and has gotten my checkbook or any of my bank statements. It could be somebody who's got access to the bank records at the bank. I don't know. There's kind of a lot of sources for that money to go into my account. I never would have thought about any of this before this. It's really bizarre. I haven't really been trying to keep my bank account information secret. Like, I write checks. I have it hooked up with online bill pay stuff. I mean, anybody at any of those bill pay companies could be involved. I have no idea. So I have no idea how they will track this down. But there are people who do this professionally. And my lawyer is arranging to have one of them try to trace the origin of this deposit. Separately, he's trying to have somebody track down the text that was sent to me, but I think that's going to be even harder. It came in as an unknown number, and I know there's all these ways to route things through proxies to make it look like it came from somewhere else, so I would be surprised if we can get anything from the text message I got. But yeah, my lawyer is going to try to track it down because I don't know what authorities I can trust at this point. This money should be out of my account before you see me again, and I am looking forward to that It'll give me peace of mind. And then if we find out what happened, we can hand over the information and the escrow account to authorities, whichever ones happen to be trustworthy, and get all that sorted out. A part of me wonders if I'm being very stupid, because I know things are getting worse in the city. That's part of why I want to get Rachel out and Jenny out of the city. I wish I could talk my parents into leaving the city. I know there have been more riots. I know the rationing is getting more erratic. It feels to me like what they've been telling me. It's very arbitrary and not really driven by supply and demand like I would expect rationing to be. It almost feels like punitive. I'm really worried about what's happening there. And I really feel like I need to be doing more out here to help you all in there. And part of me thinks if I were to just hang on to that money, I could buy more property, I could get more fields going, more farming, maybe some more productions, produce more food, and like relieve the pressure on you all in there. I have been thinking about it. I'm not such a... Not everything is black and white. The money is not mine. It feels wrong to take it. But also there's a lot of stuff going on in the city. Maybe I could help that if I kept the money. I think I'm more afraid of the consequences of keeping the money than I am of the moral gray area of keeping it. I would do it if I thought I could help you all with it. And to heck with the consequences. But I don't know. I have this feeling like something bigger is going on. I can't explain it. That's enough musing of a crazy person. I will get this milk loaded in and guess get back to the farm. Maybe, well, it's almost 3 o'clock. Maybe I'll go make one of Nelson's favorite dinners, bring it over to them for dinner tonight, and give myself an excuse to go hang out over there and make sure he's okay. That seems important right now. Gotta keep the people you care about close. Alright. Bye for now, friends. I'll catch you next month.